Yes. So as I was saying, I would first conclude by taking two citations about open science, so which I like. Open science is the practice of science in such a way that others can collaborate and contribute, where research data, lab notes, and other research processes are freely available under terms that enable reuse, redistribution, and reproduction of the research and its underlying data and methods. And so I think this is what we've been hearing today. And also from the second French National Plan for Open Science, it is said that open science refers to the unhindered dissemination of results, method, and product from scientific research. It draws on the opportunity provided by recent digital progress to develop open access to publication and, as much as possible, data, source code, and research methods, and let's add, and educational resources. Now, if I try to summarize what's been said today, first question could be, why do I want to open my research? Well, we've heard that sometimes it's becoming from to fulfill obligations towards research funders. We've also discussed about being able to easily reuse contents and or to reach a large audience. What type of content? And I think the first question was about PhD from PhD. So for example, if we take an example, as a PhD student, what I'm going to produce research articles, books, meta-analysis, codes, softwares, conferences, posters, blog posts, and so on. So I think all material produced during research can respond to this criteria. When should we share open or research? Well, I said as soon as possible, and still trying to take into account both regulation and ethical policies in place. How to publish, what tools could be used to do this sharing. So we've been discussing about peer reviewing in open access. Something we did not discuss today, but I think it's important both for research and education, is also the question of a language used. So I think more and more we're trying to promote the multilingual dissemination of documents. So that means the document could be written, for example, in English, and then also written in the native language of a country. So I guess the idea, it's a good idea to promote multilingual language. And we've also been discussed today about the Creative Commons licenses, which are different type of licenses that are really allowing the person sharing some materials to determine how this material should be shared. Regarding the platforms, again, we've discussed about this open access academic publishers. We discussed about the article processing charges that are way too high. And the idea is to try to go diamond, so to be able to share and to have access to books and articles without paying anything. It's also can be a good idea also to publish through personal websites. And we've been touching on open archive for code and data repositories such as software heritage. Now, I think the biggest issue is, at the end of the day, if we want to promote and foster open science among the different communities and around the world, as some of you already pointed, there's a need to rethink our research career assessment system. Basically, right now, our system relies too much on high impact factor publication journals. And so this is why, and it's been mentioned by in at least two of the session, that there's an existing coalition which been named COARA, Coalition for Advancing Research Assessment, that has been emerging since 2022. And I would like to use the last minute to reuse a presentation from the COARA community to explain what is COARA, because I think it's something fundamental that's really helping and gonna further help to promote open science in the future. So there's an urgent need to reform existing ways of assessing research. Well, as I said, assessment process rely predominantly on journals and publication-based metrics. I mean, it depends on the field. And that could be a hurdle to the recognition of a diverse contribution of someone. And it's also promote an unhealthy research culture and an unaffordable publication system. You know, we've been talking about numbers in the biomedical field. If you want to publish an article in a high factor journal, it could cost $5,000. And they're telling you, well, if you want this paper to be accessible by everyone, then you can just subscribe to a gold open access, and it's doubling the price, 10,000. So Coara basically has been created in 2022, and the idea of Coara is to create a community to try to think the way we are evaluating the research. You know, Dora was promoting to abandon the use of impact factors and other quantitative metrics. Now with Coara, the idea is to try to find new strategies to rethink the evaluation. So Coara is a vision. It's also a mission to enable a systemic reform of research assessments. And the Coara community has first put together some guiding principles. And with Coara, there's 10 commitments, but there's 4 core commitments. So the first one is when you evaluate research, you should be able to recognize the diversity of contributions to and careers in research and in accordance with the needs and the nature of the research. You should base your research assessment primarily on qualitative evaluation, for which peer review is central, supported by responsible use of quantitative indicators. Third, you should abandon the inappropriate use in research assessment of journal and publication-based metrics. And fourth, you try to avoid the use of rankings of research organization in research assessment. Now with Coara, what it means, you can sign Coara, and when you're signing as an organization, you have 1 year to put together an action plan that you will share on the Zenodo platforms. The idea is to start your process of reviewing, to develop new criteria tools for this evaluation, and then you have 4 years to put what you decided in your action plan in action. And basically, when you sign this agreement, this is only the starting point. Who can sign the agreement? Basically, what's interesting. Almost anyone or any entities, university association, research centers, research infrastructures, academies, public, private research fundings, national, regional authorities or agencies, and any other relevant non-for-profit organization involved with research assessment and association. So when you join this coalition, then you're joining a community, and that means you can exchange with other members. You can discuss about what they have in their action plan. You can try to share new tools, new ways, or new ideas of trying to evaluate research. And you have basically national and international working group. So this slide is just to show you that Coara is an international community. It started in Europe, but now it starts to pick up a bit in different parts of the world. At the beginning of the year, and now it increased. There are 816 signatories and 716 member organizations. So with Coara, what's already existing is there are action plans that are available in Zenodo. There are active working groups working on very specific topics. There's a growing number of national chapters. That means some countries are trying to federate their efforts in research assessment at the national level, and they start to get some cascade funding. And Coara is creating many different events to exchange for the communities. The last 2 slides is just to give you links to access different initiatives from Coara and the Coara community, and different ways to follow them. And so with that, I would like to conclude this event. And I would like again to thank all members of Circle U, all the people that have been involved in the task force and that have helped us to put together this wonderful event. And thank you all for attending. Bye.